The dragon has been born again, and it's one of you.
You fully lost your mind.
The Wheel of Time on Prime is an epic fantasy series based on the best-selling books by Robert Jordan, completed by Brandon Sanderson. With thousands of characters and new terms, intricate lore, and complex magic, it's easy to lose track of everything, especially with changes made to adapt the books for TV. That's where I come in. Welcome to the Wheel of Time Seasons 1 and 2 recap. With Season 3 on the horizon, let's revisit the significant events, characters, and history in preparation for the new season, coming to Prime on March 13th. Season 2 ended with ancient heroes called forth from the dead by the Horn of Valir to help Randall Thor and his friends to defeat the Forsaken Ishamael. With Moraine's power restored, she helped Rand to proclaim himself the Dragon Reborn, as the people of Falme watched in awe. But how did we get to this moment, and why does it matter? Let's first review the big picture. The Wheel of Time turns, and ages come and pass, repeating in an endless cycle. People are reborn to live infinite lives throughout the ages, though they don't remember their past lives. The wheel weaves the threads of people's lives into the great pattern, which makes up all existence. Sometimes the wheel requires course correction. To restore balance, it uses ta'veren, highly influential people who become focal points in the pattern.
Why? You're ta'veren. All 5 of you focal points for the wheel.
ta'veren influence the world around them, often unknowingly, bending events and threads of people's lives to the will of the wheel. Try saying that 5 times fast.
The wheel weaves as the wheel wills.
3,000 years ago, during a time of peace and prosperity called the Age of Legends, an entity known as the Dark One began to corrupt the pattern, causing imbalance, reintroducing war and chaos, and threatening the end of time and existence. And so the pattern required a ta'veren, hero, and champion of the light to counter the shadow and to restore balance. Enter the Dragon. In the Age of Legends, the dragon was Lews Therin Telamon, a powerful channeler of the One Power and a leader of the Aes Sedai.
Do you know what Aes Sedai means in the Old Tongue? Servants of all.
The Dark One recruited many powerful Aes Sedai to his side. These top lieutenants called themselves the Chosen, but the world knew them as the Forsaken. One of the most dangerous was Ishamael, said to be Lews Therin's equal in power. Once friends with Lews Therin, Ishamael turned to the shadow, driven by nihilism and a desire to break the wheel and end the cycle of rebirth and suffering.
Alone of all the Chosen, I actually believe in the dark.
He believed the Dark One would inevitably break the wheel, but in order for that to happen, the dragon would need to swear to the shadow.
He'll only break the wheel if it turns to the dark. And he'll only turn if he thinks it'll save his friends from doing the same.
To Ishamael, it was only a matter of time.
I suppose I have nothing if not time.
Another Forsaken was Lanfear. As ruthless and powerful as she is beautiful, Lanfear loved Lews Therin. Obsessed with reclaiming him after he broke things off and married another woman, she swore herself to the shadow and was promised eternal life. Many people joined the Dark One as Dark Friends, while Trollocs, Fades, and other monstrous shadow spawn spread terror from the corrupted lands of the Blight. Lews Therin led the Light's forces against the Shadow in a brutal war of power. Victory seemed certain until he made a fateful choice that would alter the pattern for generations to come.
Many, many years ago, men who were born with great power believed they could cage darkness itself. The arrogance.
Lews Therin captured and trapped Ishamael in a supposedly unbreakable seal at the Eye of the World. He claimed Ishamael would be conscious but not aware, like a dream. The other Forsaken were also captured and trapped in Cuendiyar seals.
It's Cuendiyar.
I thought that Heartstone couldn't be scratched. That nothing, not even the One Power, could break it.
So did I.
But capturing the Forsaken was not enough for the dragon. He also attempted to re-imprison the Dark One, and it didn't go very well. The prison was sealed, but the male half of the One Power was corrupted, causing male channelers to go insane and triggering the breaking of the world. Continents shifted, cities crumbled, and entire civilizations were lost. The dragon went mad and killed those closest to him before his death. A large peak, now called Dragon Mount, was left where he died. Prophecies claim that in the world's greatest hour of need, the dragon would be reborn to once again face the Dark One. But this time the shadow has the upper hand. The male half of the One Power is corrupted, causing all men who channel it to go mad. The Dark One's prison and the seals that hold the Forsaken are weakening, and if the Dark One breaks free, the Wheel of Time could be broken, and the entire pattern could unravel, causing the end of existence for everyone permanently. More heroes and ta'veren would be needed to restore balance. 3,000 years later, the scars of the breaking remain, and the truth of the past has faded to myth. The One Power still corrupts any man who channels it. The Aes Sedai, now exclusively women who channel, work to prevent another breaking by hunting male channelers and gentling them, removing their ability to channel before they lose control. To keep the people's trust, Aes Sedai bind themselves to the 3 unbreakable oaths, which prevent them from lying and from using the One Power as a weapon against innocents.
These oaths are bound by the One Power itself. It's not that we do not break them, it's that we cannot break them.
Aes Sedai are divided into 7 Ajas with distinct purposes, though rumors persist of an 8th that serves the Dark One. The Aes Sedai leader is the Amyrlin Seat, who sits on a throne of the same name in the White Tower. The Amyrlin is considered to be the most powerful person in the known world. Another group, the Children of the Light, or White Cloaks, commit atrocities while claiming moral supremacy. One prominent White Cloak is Eamon Valda, who prided himself on capturing and burning Aes Sedai like witches. Since the breaking, some men have risen to power and proclaimed themselves the Dragon Reborn. The Ajas band together to stop these so-called false dragons. In Season 1, we learned of one such man, Logain Ablar, who raised an army before he was captured and then unlawfully gentled by the Aes Sedai without trial. One Red Sister of particular note who was involved in his gentling is Liandrin Sedai. After his sentencing by the Amyrlin Seat, Logain was sent to a sanatorium in the city of Cairhien. He still believes he's the Dragon Reborn, and he's still insane.
The blood of Luz Therin Telamon flows in my veins.
But the true dragon's rebirth was already woven into the pattern decades earlier. 20 years ago, 3 major world-changing events occurred simultaneously. First, the Aiel War ended abruptly near Tar Valon. The Aiel are desert warriors from the eastern Aiel Waste. They veil their faces when they kill and have strange ideas about honor. For unknown reasons, the Aiel crossed the mountains called the Dragon Wall and began a bloody 2-year war against the nations of the Westlands. Just as the war ended, an Aiel woman went into labor on the slopes of Dragonmount, while a young soldier named Tam al'Thor sought refuge nearby. He removed his helmet to show that he wasn't a threat and began to help her. The second significant event happened in Tar Valon, where bells were ringing to celebrate the end of the war. 2 Aes Sedai of the Blue Aja, Moraine Damadred and Siuan Sanche, were celebrating and planning their future together when they visited a blind Aes Sedai who had a talent to foretell the future. She was struck by a strong foretelling where she witnessed the third significant event, the birth of the Dragon Reborn, on the slopes of Dragonmount.
The dragon is born again. I feel it. The baby lies in the snow and cries like the thunder. It burns like the sun.
So strong was her foretelling that it killed her, just as the laboring mother also died. Tam and his wife Carrie took the impossible child home to a backwater village far to the west in the Two Rivers. They named him Rand and raised him as a shepherd. They never told Rand about his true parentage. Before dying, the blind Aes Sedai swore Moraine and Siuan to secrecy with an impossible task. They alone must find the dragon and prepare the world to follow. The very fate of the wheel depended on it. Siuan stayed in the White Tower, rising to become the Amyrlin Seat. Moraine took to the road, searching tirelessly for the Dragon Reborn. She recruited Landman Dragarin, an uncrowned king of a fallen land called Malkier, as her warder. Warders and Aes Sedai share a magical bond.
I've heard about the bond between an Aes Sedai and her warder. That you feel what she feels.
After 20 years, Moraine found a small village in the Two Rivers with 4 ta'veren who were all born around the same time. Rand al'Thor, Perrin Aybara, Mat Cauthon, and Egwene al'Vir. Moraine also discovered a 5th ta'veren, Nynaeve Almira, who was a bit older than the others, but who would also prove to be an important thread in the pattern. After a brutal Shadowspawn attack left the village in ruins, during which Perrin accidentally killed his wife and Rand's father Tam was nearly killed, Moraine convinced the group that one of them was the Dragon Reborn, but she wasn't sure which. Rand took his father's mysterious heron-marked sword, and the group left with Moiraine and Lan to find a place of safety in Tar Valon with the Shadow in pursuit. For a full breakdown of Season 1, check out my deeper recap on YouTube. Here are the Season 1 highlights. As they traveled, the Ta'Veren were haunted by a fiery-eyed specter in their dreams. Rand struggled with strange abilities. Egwene explored her Aes Sedai potential, but suffered at the hands of White Cloaks. Perrin, also tortured by White Cloaks, developed wolf-like senses and grappled with the death of his wife. Mat fell under the influence of a cursed dagger from Shadar Logoth. Nynaeve shocked everyone with a powerful healing display. The group was separated early on, but reunited a month later in Tar Valon. During their separation, Rand and Mat met a traveling entertainer, or gleeman, Tom Maryland, who saved them from a fade and was left for dead. And they met Loial, an Ogier who loved books and noted Rand's Aiel heritage.
An Aielman from the Two Rivers?
I'm not an Aielman.
Perrin and Egwene took refuge with the traveling people,
Surely you've heard of the Tinkers?
pacifists who followed the Way of the Leaf, a non-violent philosophy, which was attractive to Perrin, but conflicted with his growing wolf instincts. In Tar Valon, Moiraine navigated White Tower politics, publicly reprimanded by the Amerlin seat.
On your knees.
Privately, she and Swan reconnected.
On your knees.
Swan had a dream that revealed the dragon must go to the Eye of the World. Moiraine healed Mat from the dagger's corruption, but warned him never to touch it again.
If he touches it again, he may be lost forever.
Mat chickened out and stayed behind, while the rest of the group traveled through the Ways to a borderland fortress near the Blight. There, Rand met Min Farshaw, who saw visions of the future. Min confirmed Rand's suspicions. He was the Dragon Reborn. He confided in Moiraine, and together they entered the Blight to find the Eye of the World. A Trolloc army attacked the fortress. Believing it was the last battle, the city's lord unearthed the ancient Horn of Valir, said to call heroes from the dead to fight, and said to be crucial for the dragon's victory. Before it could be used, Darkfriend Padan Fain stole it. He warned Perrin that all 5 Ta'Veren had roles to play, and some might turn to the Shadow. Nynaeve, Egwene, and others stopped the Trolloc army but suffered heavy losses. At the Eye, Rand saw visions of Lews Therin, his past self. Was this madness or something unique to the Dragon Reborn in this age? Moiraine and Swan believed the Eye was the Dark One's prison, but it was actually the seal keeping Ishamael trapped in his dreamlike state. Ishamael had been manipulating Rand and others through dreams. In a dream at the Eye, Ishamael tried to turn Rand to the Shadow. Ishamael also attacked Moiraine, cutting her off from the One Power and breaking her bond with Lan. Believing he was destroying the Dark One, Rand unleashed immense power, accidentally freeing Ishamael instead. Fearing madness, Rand left Moiraine and his friends behind.
Tell them I died here.
Season 1 ended with strange ships far to the west attacking the continent. The Shadow had struck a major blow. Ishamael was free, the Horn of Valir was stolen, and an invading empire had arrived.
This wasn't the last battle. I fear it was the first.
There are neither beginnings nor endings to the turning of the Wheel of Time, but this was a beginning. Season 2 picked up months later, with the group once again separated. Rand hid in Cairhien, struggling with his powers. Seeking to learn how to channel and to hold off the madness, he found Logain, the false dragon, but Logain was already insane and couldn't help. Rand also connected with a mysterious innkeeper, Selene. Ishamael, now fully free, wove a careful web, conspiring with the invading Seanchan Empire and others, directing every major player toward Falme. He gathered all of the Forsaken seals, but released just one of them, Lanfear, who hid as Selene and rekindled her obsession with Lews Therin through Rand. Meanwhile, Moiraine, cut off from the One Power, sought answers while she and Lan struggled with their fractured bond. They stayed with Aes Sedai sisters Verin and Adeleas. Verin, a Brown Aja scholar, seemed to know too much of Moraine's mission, but became a valuable ally.
Good. I wanted to know how far you go for the dragon if you're to lead him to victory.
For a time, Lan and Moiraine parted ways. Lan joined Alana and her 2 warders, Ivon and Maxim, who would also prove to be essential allies. At the White Tower, Egwene and Nynaeve trained as novices. During their training, they learned more about the complex weaves of the One Power. Nynaeve's raw power impressed the Aes Sedai, leading her to the perilous Accepted Test Arches, where she faced visions of her past, present, and future, and earned her place as accepted. Egwene also grew in strength, but found herself caught in White Tower politics, constantly feeling she was not enough in comparison to Nynaeve. Egwene befriended Elaine Trakand, the Andorran heir, who joined her in her novice training.
I'm Elaine Trakand, daughter heir of Andor. You were my subject.
Mat, imprisoned by Liandrin, befriended Min, whose visions warned he would find the Shatter Logoth dagger again and stab Rand. Liandrin, revealed as Black Aja, later handed Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elaine over to the invading Shan-Chan, who enslave and control women who can channel using an Adom collar. Egwene was captured, but Nynaeve and Elaine were able to escape and hide in Falme. Perrin and Loial, along with some Borderlander soldiers, pursued Padan Fain and the stolen Horn of Valir. Perrin met Elias Machira, a wolf brother who helped him understand his affinity to wolves.
Wolf brother, they call us. I am them. So are you.
He also formed a connection with Hopper, a wolf who dreamt of flying.
Hopper. That's his name.
Close enough.
Captured by the Shan-Chan, Perrin witnessed their brutality, including Uno's execution.
Those who will not swear the oaths will have the oaths sworn for them.
To obey, to serve!
Perrin escaped and helped to save an Aiel warrior named Avienda from a White Cloak cage.
Perrin Ibarra, do you like to dance?
Perrin and Avienda met up with two other Aiel warriors, Bane and Chiad, and headed to Falme to free Loial and the captive Borderlands soldiers. The Aiel said they were searching for their prophesied Chief of Chiefs.
I'm searching for the Karakarn. Our Chief of Chiefs.
At times, Lanfear defied Ishamael, aiding Rand and secretly guiding Moraine and Lan. Lanfear met with Rand in a dream realm called Teleron Riad, or the World of Dreams.
Finally.
She also met with Ishamael in the dream world. At one point, Rand and Egwene saw each other in Teleron Riad, thanks to Lanfear. Lanfear used some secret method to quickly get Mat to Falme.
Who are you? How did I get here?
That's my little secret.
Lanfear also manipulated Liandrin to mess with Moraine and Swan in Cairhien. While in Cairhien, a city known for political intrigue, Rand was trapped by Swan and other Aes Sedai. Lanfear intervened, allowing Rand to escape. Thanks to Lan's research, Rand was able to restore Moraine's ability to channel. She assumed Ishamael had stilled her at the Eye, permanently blocking her from ever channeling again, but Ishamael had only shielded her with a complex weave that only a male channeler could see and unravel. Much of what happened in Cairhien is still unclear, but it led to an apparent rift between Moraine and Swan. Lanfear intervened again and brought Rand, Moraine, and Lan to Falme through the ways.
When the time comes, raise the banner.
Meanwhile, Egwene suffered as a Damane, enduring brutal training from her Sul'dam, Rhenna. Though terrible, it increased Egwene's strength and hardened her resolve. Nynaeve and Elaine, hiding in Falme, sought a way to free her and learned that Sul'dam can also channel the One Power. This dirty little secret, if discovered by the general Shan-Chan population, could destroy the Empire. Using this secret, Egwene found the strength to break free of her chains, killing Rhenna in the process. In Falme, destinies converged. Mat was tempted by the Shatter Logoth dagger, but managed to fasten it to a pole and escape without touching it. Perrin, Loial, and the Aiel found the Horn of Valir with Lanfear's help and reconnected with Mat, who used his dagger to open the case containing the horn. Perrin was attacked by the same White Cloak who had tortured him in Season 1, but then he was saved by Hopper. Another White Cloak, Bornhald, killed Hopper with an axe. Perrin's eyes became permanently golden as he felt Hopper's death. Hopper got his wish to fly. In an animalistic rage, Perrin killed Bornhald in front of his son, Dane. Mat, realizing he wouldn't be able to get the horn past the Shan-Chan troops to Rand, blew the Horn of Valir, which slowed time as the heroes of ages past arose from the fog. Matt not only summoned the dead heroes to help fight, but also learned of his true heroic nature.
The heroes of the Horn. I am one of you.
Memories of his past lives as a hero of the Horn seemed to unlock within him an ability to fight and to speak the ancient language of the Old Tongue. We also learned that Uno, the Borderlander soldier who previously died, is a hero of the Horn. He gave his shield to Perrin during the fight. Rand, realizing he could not run from who he was, faced Ishamael on the tower above the city as his friends arrived to help. In an attempt to kill Ishamael, Matt accidentally stabbed Rand with his makeshift cursed spear, leaving Rand with a nearly unhealable wound. Egwene held Ishamael off for a time, but then Perrin was able to use the magic shield from Uno to block Ishamael's attacks, while Elaine attempted to heal Rand's wound, leaving a nasty, half-healed scar. Moraine, left far away by Lanfear, rebonded Lan and unleashed the One Power to change the tide of battle. As the group united on the tower, combining their strength and Ta'veren nature, Rand was able to kill Ishamael with his father's Heron-marked sword, heated by the One Power. The sword was destroyed, and Rand was left with a Heron mark branded into his palm. Ishamael almost seemed grateful to Rand as he died.
It's beautiful. Do you see it, love? What do you see?
Nothing. Nothing is wrong.
The season ended with Moraine channeling a dragon of fire above the city, publicly declaring Rand al'Thor as the Dragon Reborn.
Karakarn.
But before his death, Ishamael had done one final act of terrifying consequence. He freed the remaining Forsaken from their seals, setting the stage for even greater dangers ahead. As Lanfear reveled in her apparent victory, she was entrapped by Moghedien, the spider.
Softly, softly from the shadows.
Moghedien.
The look on Lanfear's face should tell you everything you need to know. Moghedien and the other Forsaken are loose, and they don't share the same affections for the dragon as Ishamael and Lanfear.
Light help you, Rand al'Thor.
Light help Rand al'Thor indeed. Season 3 promises to dive deeper into the story of the Shadow Rising, which is my favorite book of the Wheel of Time series, bringing more of the Aiel, deepening the lore of the Forsaken, and pushing our heroes towards the last battle. The stakes have never been higher.